Right, so I'm just gonna build this from scratch, the Giga, and show you basically my thought process behind making it by creating it and then doing a copy. I know that sounds weird, like I should just build it from scratch, but it's kind of just demonstrate how I would build it piece by piece. So the first thing I want to do is actually make sure the station just is long enough to fit the max trains. So I don't know how many tiles this is actually. What I got to count from scratch, 7. And then first thing you want is to just make your lift hill, which you obviously start off with the lift. When you have the longest Giga train, you can do a lift hill that is small lift, then you go to steep, full steep piece down, and then once you go flat, you can make that final chain lift. So this bottom chain will carry the train from here to here, and then you can just drop from there, which you can test with the blue thing, see if that works. And you'll see like it makes it. So you make that drop. And because you can actually, because the trains are long enough to do a steep piece in the middle, you can actually do a steep turn and just do the same thing, which is how I started the ride. This is something I actually learned from Marcel, obviously. Most of the things I'm doing is just stuff from watching his videos. This actual whole first drop element, I saw a coaster in one of his parks has this, but then the ride just kind of went wherever after that. So I wanted to base the design around this and just finish it off. So what I would do after that is I copy the drop. I think it was a small one, yep. And you go flat, you do a booster. And the cool thing about boosters is you can set them to whatever you want and control the ride stats based on a booster. So even just by having one booster here, I can make it a more intense ride or a less intense ride. But the purpose is just to clear a decent sized hill here. Which, this is pretty much what Marcel's ride was in the park. I don't remember what video it was ages ago, but I just wanted to remake this and then finish it off into a full park. So what I have to do is, because I want to make sure the ride isn't too long or anything, I am not going to use these massive turns. I'm going to go down like this and turn back into the ride, because obviously I'm basically closing off a box. If you want like a 6x12 or whatever, don't be too specific with that. Just use the room that you have, or like what you need to do, and then you're basically just going to fill space from here in a way that allows you to place the station and the entrance and the exit and all this stuff as actually just kind of trial and error. So I can make this. I don't want to go too low because I want to go back up. So I am going to do that by banking, going up here. And then a lot of this other, like this whole middle section is trial and error. I obviously wouldn't intentionally go down here and then go like that. Like I don't know to do this until after the ride. So what I actually could do is like you do a large turn here and then I go down. This is not the exact same design, but you can kind of see my process behind it. Doing that though, it allows you to fit in another drop, which will just increase your ride stats. So say if I just finish the ride this way, which is very similar to how I'm doing in this design. You know, you might want to, you see here that this is in the way, so I'm just going to delete this at this point. I deleted the wrong ride. Let's start from scratch. That's actually funny. It doesn't take long to build a coaster like this after you just explained how to do it. Also, you don't even need to bank these. Like, if you don't have the space to bank it, you don't bank it. That's why this turn here is unbanked, and it's why this turn at the end isn't banked. We'll just do the booster again. You can skip forward if it's too boring. If you have the station, then you know what you're building around. You probably also want to place your entry and exit in the middle, because that's where you want it anyway for the max throughput. It's just takes less time for the guests to get on the train if the entrance and exit are in the middle of the train, and it's a long train, so you just want it in the middle of the station. Any other ride that has just like a one little car, you just put the entrance and the exit as close to the end of the station as possible. You can even add helixes, like up or down. Say if I want more height or less height, I can just do a helix. But yeah, you can see here, I can't make it, so I actually have to redesign this area, which is why, like, it's not enough clearance. So, if I do a drop here, and then a small turn, and then go down and do the same thing that I did, I end up in the same spot as I was before, but this is lower, so I should be able to clear it if I design the ride properly. If I can't clear it, I make more space out this way if I have the room to do so. But I mean, this is what I mean when the ride just changes as you go. Like, I couldn't redesign this from scratch probably. I would just probably end up designing a different ride. It's more about the principles that I'm using. For example, I could do a small helix here, actually. Helix down small. And then maybe, or maybe not, I won't have room to clear that. How did I even manage to do this? This is insane. Like at this point, I'm just designing a new ride from scratch. There you go, that's something you can do. Oh, we've got where we were. We made the same ride. And another interesting thing is actually, so at this point, I'm just going to bank it because I want to stay within that support. So you can see I've matched this and this on the same task, so I haven't stuck out too much, and the same with here. I have gone back here, but I kind of need to do that because this station is already going to be, it needs to be this long, and then I have to somehow connect it, which the most compact way I can do that is a small turn here. So I do that, this I need to unbank, and then I have one more space, and yeah, you could put an on-ride photo section, but what I did is put the block brake to carry the second train. And then once you're in block section mode, rather than having like, for example, a big train here, and then one sticking out the back, this actually stops the ride from crashing because the block section will always work. The ride will only, like this train here will only go to the station once the other one is left, and it will be held here. Complete the ride, it will just keep riding, and the other one will just be automatically put up to the top of the lift hill. And conveniently, you also have a lot of space to put your path here, which obviously you wouldn't build path in the way of something. My other rides, you see that, and then the path, you can just put it like, if there was, say if you had ride here and you couldn't go there, you would just path somewhere else, or wherever you could fit it. So yeah, once you've done this, you've completed the ride. Make sure it's in the block section mode, 2 trains, 9 cars per train, and then just watch it go. And this booster, again, you can always change this booster to whatever speed you want, just as long as it clears the hill, that's the point of it. But if you want like a super intense, like a high intensity ride, you can just put that booster at max speed or whatever, and you might get that, especially because at the end you're doing an unbanked turn. And the thing is with Gigas, you can actually take quite a bit of lateral Gs without a massive intensity penalty. So here I'm actually taking three lateral Gs right at the end, or at least the ride did when it was calculated. But the intensity isn't extreme or anything. Like, people will happily ride this in any park that doesn't have guests that prefer more or less intensity. Like, this is a good ride by the game standards. It's quite small, and it has 2 full-size train, and it's not too expensive. It is like, yeah, $5,000-ish, whereas a lot of these big designs are like 20 to 25,000. So you could just build 5 of those instead of a giant Giga if you really wanted to, and just get a lot more out of it.